What is the best loophole you ever found? I guess this is kind of a loophole. One of my proudest moments nonetheless. In the final semester of my senior year in high school, I decided to take a class called Physics 2. I liked the first physics class I took. I thought that this would be a fun class to go out on. Wrong, it was basically AP Physics. I was in way over my head. It's not that I wasn't trying, it's that physics just wasn't a subject I could easily understand. I failed a lot of tests. At the end of the semester I had a D going into the final. I'm freaking out at this point, thinking that my college acceptance is going to be pulled. Our final project is about buoyancy. The task is to build a boat that could support you and your partner out of nothing but cardboard, glue and 20 feet of duct tape. If you could paddle to the end of a pool and back with you and your partner in the boat, you get an A on that aspect of the project. Great. Then my teacher made the mistake of offering an extra incentive. For every length of the pool you could go beyond that without sinking, you'd get 40 extra credit points. Extra credit was my only hope. We went out and found the sturdiest cardboard we could find. We carefully folded, glued and cut the cardboard into a canoe type of boat. It looked great. The day finally came. The entire class brought their boats out and we started. Most people made it to the end of the pool before their boats started to disintegrate. One group made it back and forth 13 times before they sank. Whoa, we were the very last team. We go in and start paddling. We make it to the end, paddle back, then out and back again, and again, and again. We crossed the pool 60 times before our teacher made us stop. We did not sink. We both earned 2,400 extra credit points. I went from a D to an A on the very last final I ever had in high school. True story and one of my greatest days. I would have made the cardboard a couple inches shorter than the length of the pool and just shuffled it back and forth a couple times for all the bonus points. When I was in high school, we figured out that we could use the Hooked on Phonex automated toll-free number to make free phone calls from payphones. We would dial 1-800-ABCDEFG and once prompted, would enter 1, 2, 3, 4 3 times. The calls would then drop and we would get a dial tone. Then could call anyone we wanted to. Probably saved a good $4.75 with that one. After college, my parents and I decided to liquidate an account they had started for me when I was little. Both my and my dad's name was on the account. The check came to my parents' address, so my dad, henceforth referred to as Heifer Sr., signed the back of it and sent it to me. Eventually I got the check in the mail and went down to Wells Fargo to deposit it. When I get to the teller, I sign the back of the check and inform her that I would like to deposit it. She looks at the front, looks at the back, and says, "I'm sorry, Heifer Sr. needs to be present for this deposit." "Oh," I said, "it's okay." He signed the back. We figured we'd better do that since he lives up in place that's an hour and a half away, in another state. I understand that, but because this is coming from an account that was in both of your names, and going into an account only in your name, he needs to be present to verify that he's okay with this. He lives in another state, and works a job with the same hours as your banks. There's no way he'll ever be able to come down to do this, since he'd need to take time off from work to come do 3 minutes of banking. That's the reason he signed it, so we could do what we need to without any hassle. Unfortunately, sir, he still needs to be here. At this point I'm thinking that I'll just try another branch across town, and see if the teller there is more reasonable. Well, is there anything that can be done? Well, we could cash it for you instead. At this point I'm stunned. Wait, I can get this in cash? Sure, let's do that. Sounds great. She scans the check, does whatever computer stuff is required, and then opens the cash drawer and counts out the money. "Here you go, sir. Will there be anything else today?" "Yes, actually there will be. I'd like to make a large cash deposit." Several years back, McDonald's started offering free Big Macs if you went online and completed a survey. At the end of the survey, the site would give you a coupon code. Write the code onto the receipt and the receipt becomes a coupon for a free Big Mac. A few years ago I made 2 back-to-back purchases, thus getting 2 receipts. After completing both surveys I was given the same coupon code for both receipts and both of them worked at the register. I got 2 free Big Macs. Over time and with some casual experimentation I realized that the coupon codes didn't seem to expire. I started saving a few bucks by finding discarded MCD's receipts on the ground, writing the code on it, and getting a free Big Mac. It's been about 3 years since I made this discovery and the coupon code still works. I haven't paid for a Big Mac in 3 years. Walgreens was running a deal on a blood sugar monitor that was originally $19.99. They had a weekly deal where it dropped down to $9.99 plus you got 2,000 points free on your balance reward card. I found a coupon for that exact meter which got me $10 off, so the meter became free plus I got $2 in balance points. I have about 20 meters sitting in my house that will be going to a lower income clinic where people who need it but can't afford it will benefit the most from it. Hate to break it to you, but the meters are cheap free because the strips cost an arm and a leg. Back in college, on a finance exam that I was set to bomb, the entire last page was a massive empty chart with a lengthy paragraph describing various transactions and money things. The assumption was to take all of these and interpolate and correlate everything using the things we had learned in that section. However, only actual instructions on the page were filled the chart, with no further clarifications. With the final 20 seconds I had to complete the exam. I circled the instructions and proceeded to completely fill in the entire chart with my pencil like it were a singular giant multiple choice option. I got 5 points for it. When I was around 11 or 12, the local Burger King had one of those donation water tanks where you inserted a quarter through a slot and if it landed on a platform you won a free Whopper meal. This tank let you turn the position of the platforms and I found the perfect spot where I could land a coin on a platform with about a 90% accuracy. I would collect quarters from around the house and ride there on my bike and eat for free. I did this every day for like 2 weeks. Then they mangled the platform I used. Literally broke the dang thing off inside the machine. I used another platform to get my meal, but it took me about $2 in quarters to figure out the right position for the new platform that sat at a different height than the one I normally used. The next day I found the machine drained. It just sat there on the counter for a while, unusable. Pretty sure I had gotten away with it for so long because it was just employees most of the time, but the second or third time I got the manager to fill my order she was giving me a death stare that I still remember clearly to this day. Why didn't your parents feed you? My school had a policy, get a 5 on an AP exam, and all of your grades are switched to A's. Very rare occasions was this relevant, because if you got a 5 you easily could ace the class, so it never really came up. Until me. After the AP test, I knew 100% that I had aced my AP language and comp exam. I even rewrote my essays for my teacher, just so I could get an approximate score. He said there was no way I wouldn't get a 5. Fantastic. I talked to him about the little rule that the school had, that he had forgot, and got out of an entire month of work in the class. Used that hour for study hall in the library. I skipped the final, a whole book, and a research paper. My parents were incredibly pissed. I didn't care. And this, friends, is why policies get changed. Back in the day the taxman would match you dollar for every penny you put into your superannuation. You could also claim part of it back on your tax. When the family home sold, I put $10K into my super, claimed it back on tax, got most of it back, put that back into my super, rinse and repeat until it go bye bye. Gov matched me dollar for dollar, and I was also getting money funneled in there from my workplace super, and that's how I have $800,000 in my super at age 36. I have no idea what you are talking about. I once got an automated speeding ticket, spent several hours looking at statutes and laws trying to find a way around it, looked up the city ordinance referencing temporary automated speeding traps which stated that the machine had to be within 100 yards of a school zone or a crosswalk. This was my chance. Went to court, said I was pleading not guilty. They show a video with me clearing going 35 and a 25. Several times. Prosecutor asked if I was disputing that I was speeding. Number. Prosecutor asked if I was disputing that I was the person driving. Number. Prosecutor asks what I am disputing. The placement of the speeding trap was in violation of the ordinance that enables its use. Judge immediately asks me to step closer to the bench with the prosecutor. The room is full of people with these speeding tickets. Prosecutor tries to claim that what I printed from the city website isn't the city ordinance. Judge dismisses the ticket. Walked out of the courtroom like a freaking boss. For a while there was a deal called freshness guarantee in one of our food market chains in Finland. I don't think that many people knew about that, but basically if you found any product with past expiration date, you could have won free or matching product for free. But what people didn't know was that you didn't have to buy that original product. You could just show it on the cash register and they would grant you an access to get a new one free. I often got shitloads of expensive free cheese while buying one gum to make it seem more legit shopping. It's probably great for them to have customers checking the shelves for bad stock. At a very old local hometown cemetery, it turns out that people who bought the original family plots, multiple grave possibilities in one plot, have free grave opening and grave closing included in the deed. So now, generations later, families can't be charged for grave digging at the time of funerals if the family is still in possession of the original deeds by way of succession. It's a large expense saved by the family, charges passed on to the cemetery association instead. Whoa, that's a loophole to die for. Comparethemarket.com's Meerkat movie offer. Get 1 day's travel insurance for like £2 and get a year's 2-for-1 cinema tickets. I discovered that due to Canadian laws, Bell Canada could only charge me up to $30 a month for breaking the bandwidth limits on my $60 monthly internet plan. So what you're telling me is that for $90 a month, I get unlimited downloads, which is something they didn't even offer as a package, but we don't like it when the customer looks at it that way, sir. Too bad. In a popular video game I found out that thanks to the crafting system I could go to a vendor, buy the stuff I needed and craft a crap item no one used, but I could sell it back to the vendor for more gold than it had cost. No one probably knew this method because it was a crap item no one wanted to use anyway. 24k was considered rich in the game. Within an hour I had 100k. The game had giant backspace so I could sell a lot at the same time and crafting was done automatically. The admins noticed and demanded me to tell them how I did it or I would be banned. I told them. They fixed it. Took all my gold. Even the gold I made fair. Those are just buttholes. You made that legit. I sit in on all types of college and graduate level courses. In my experience about 90% of profs let me sit in on lectures, and about 70% even let me sit in on section, where we break down to smaller class size to discuss lectures. I've never had one turn me down for office hours as long as I take a backseat to paying students. Most profs got into teaching because they love their subject. If you show real interest in it yourself, most will bend over backwards to help you. I don't get my work graded and I don't get credits, but I learn a ton. It just occurred to me that I've seen this exact comment before in another AskReddit thread. Game had a deal involving discounted purchases for trading in games. They also had bargain games for £2. You can see where this is going. Xbox 360 parts. Back in the day, 2008, if you phoned the Xbox 360 repair people and tell them that you have a faulty external hard drive adapters controllers, they would tell you in order for the item to be repaired they would need the faulty product and a fee to repair the product in question. However, if you took the reference customer number they give you a few weeks down the line, you would get a knock on the door and a package from Xbox with a new controller hard drive adapter. After my brother clocked on the mistake by Xbox, he always phoned to say he needed a repair on an item, and a couple of weeks later he would be given a new working product that he wanted repaired, even though he sent nothing in for repair or paid for anything. We had many controllers and hard drives by the time we hung up our life of Xbox crime. Same kind of thing with Guitar Hero. You used to go on their website with a fault with the drum kit. Someone quoted a box number online. You put this in and they sent a replacement, but the replacement was the full Guitar Hero band kit, drum kit, guitar and microphone. I get the gas company to remove my meter over summer and reinstall it in the winter months for free. They offer free servicing, and I never use my gas in the summer at all because it's only for heating. FCK paying £10.20 a month for a burning pilot light. We had a courier company here in the UK called Citilink. I used to use them all the time through a parcel broker site to pick up stuff I bought on eBay with collection only because Citilink would bring their own labels. I bought a petrol pressure washer from eBay, but somehow at the seller's end they put the labels on 5 new tires which got delivered to me the next day. I refused to sign for them. That was the day I found out Citilink never knew the weight, size or quantities of the package they were collecting. Citilink is now bankrupt. There was a reason they were often referred to as Shittylink. Once won a free games for a month at a local laser tag arena. Used it during summer holidays and played about $1,500 worth of games. And I got the sense that I used it way more than expected. I don't think they have had that prize ever again. It costs them approximately $0 per game to let you play, and every laser tag place I have ever been is not full most of the time. But since laser tag is one of those things that is more fun with more people, they should have been thrilled, because you improved the experience for all of their paying customers. About 10 years ago I found an old vending machine that if I put 5C in and press change, it gave me 10C. Once the machine ran out of 10C, it would give me back nothing. So I would dump all my 5C in until it eats the last one, meaning there are no more 10C coins, and I would leave. I did that for a while, and the guy at 7-Eleven always looked at me weirdly when I would exchange $5 for 105C coins. Eventually, they changed the machine, and I no longer could do my trick. Same thing, but the machine thought €0.20 piece was £1, so much chocolate and crisps, man, at bargain prices. When I was at school there was a rule, where if you didn't go to detention they would give you an extra 5 minutes next time. So I simply never went. I was probably owed a good few hundred hours of detention by the time I left. I think this is my favorite in the thread. Just didn't deal with their empty threat. I'm really proud of myself for this one. So my high school had one hot option for lunch. Usually it was pretty good, but sometimes it was just a baked potato or something, and you weren't allowed to order pizza unless it was for someone's birthday, or if it was for a club. So I founded Pizza Club, where I would order pizza whenever the lunch was awful. Nearly everyone in the school were members. When I was in college, there was a rule that you couldn't have appliances that cook food, form and grill, hot plate. Exception was microwaves, and only in some halls, in your room. I was feeling punchy one day, and asked my RA what about EZ bake ovens. He asked the road, who asked the director of Res Life. The next year, included in the list of appliances that weren't allowed in the residence hall was toys that can cook food, for example, EZ bake ovens. I feel like that's a Skippy's List moment. IDK if this is a real loophole, but it was a shady as frick trick I learned in high school and never got caught doing. I was one of the advanced students in my tiny high school. 3 other advanced classmates and I once took a math class over the summer to get ahead. Since the school was small, this caused a conflict in our schedules as we weren't in the same math class as the rest of our grade. We took a homeschooling course for history during a study hall period instead, with a teacher supervising us. Since we were the 4 smartest kids in our grade, the administration thought we were incapable of fraud. We were left alone for the whole period. We would chat and goof off or catch up on homework for an hour, then run down to the dean's office to grade our tests. He'd hand us the teacher's edition, we'd write down the correct answers, and turn in our packet. We did this for 3 years. No one suspected since we made A's legitimately in our other classes. Moral of the story: if you make good grades on your own, teachers won't suspect you of falsifying the ones you had cheated for. The dude who would walk into one building, go 30 floors up, take the skywalk over, elevator back down into the lobby to get a free apple even though it added around 10 minutes to his day. Love that. He got exercise and an apple. I worked in a Sears warehouse area and loaded trucks, took big items out to people's cars. Well, anyway, we had a break room with some old vending machines, the kinds where you could get sandwiches and frozen biscuits and stuff out of. Well, one day I had received a tip. Didn't happen often, but anyways I got this well-worn, soft as cloth dollar that was a little ripped up. Later that day I fed it into the machine to get something to eat. I was 19 or 20, manual labor all day, always hungry and always broke. Well, the machine kept spitting the dollar back out. I was cursing the stupid filthy dollar until I looked up. I had $5 credit. I spent the credit and tried again. Voila, dollar goes in almost all the way. Gets spit out. Free food. And it gets better. I could hit coin return and whatever credit I had it would return to me in quarters. Now this was a revelation. I use this dollar, my magic dollar, daily and nightly at work. Free food and beer money at my beck and call. Now I didn't go too crazy, but I probably got $20.40 worth of food a week and the same in quarters. I could see the vending guy checking the machine every so often. And I always thought the jig was up, but it lasted until I left to take another job. For the life of me I don't remember what I did with the dollar, but I am guessing I either gave it or sold it to someone else in the warehouse. This was 17 years ago, and for those wondering, I tried to make copies of my magic dollar by cutting other normal dollars, trying to make the exact cuts and everything, but nothing ever worked. Only the original magic dollar. Back in WoW's Burning Crusade, a buddy and I discovered that the guards in Cenarian Expedition wouldn't attack you if you attacked players from certain points in the town. On the flip side, the guards would attack anyone who tried to defend themselves. From that point on, we farmed players questing for hours at a time. I was a rogue in gladiator gear, and he was an undergeared hunter. I'd hide in the shadows until our victims tried to fight back or save themselves, and then would assassinate them. We eventually caused so much grief that a guild flew in healers, DPS, and a tank to hold the guard aggro. We still made it out on top because they just didn't understand the town's guard eye like we did. That was probably the most fun I had in WoW. It ended with a 2-week ban for griefing and exploiting, but when we came back they had added extra guards in most of our old gank spots. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.